been quite the courtroom showdown. And all I gotta say is, I'm still here. Okay, y'all, listen. So what has been happening today, right? First of all, Diddy's jailhouse phone calls look like they're going to be released. The government is saying after the way y'all humiliated Mia yesterday, after all that stuff that's going on, guess what? We have jailhouse phone calls that actually corroborate everything that Mia was saying. I don't think Diddy's team was waiting for that. Brian still did his victory lap, and the prosecution is like, no. We are going to have to bring it back. But what happened most importantly on the stand is Eddie Garcia. There was also, oh my God, a woman got dragged out of the courtroom. She claimed to be a Diddy supporter. She was mad because she said, we're trying to ruin their legacy. And by we, I mean the court, not me. Trying to, well, I guess my YouTube goes into it. Said that they were trying to ruin his legacy, laughing at his legacy, doing all this stuff. The guards were like, ma'am, you're gonna have to leave. She was like, no. They tried to make her leave. It was 4 guards on her at one time. She literally said, pull your gun, ninja. At that point, I thought she was actually gonna grab the US whatever, but whatever, right? So you know me, I got up and tipped over 4 things over and had my back, because my back was sore when it was happening, so I could be 4 rows over and be looking at her, because when somebody starts talking about pull your whatever, I'm thinking this is about to go bang, 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 bang. We do not need to be catching strays in this nice, decent Southern District of New York courthouse. It has been an incredible morning. Then I came out the courthouse to report to y'all. Go watch it live if y'all want to see the details. There was a fight being started in the courtroom. I don't know what is going on. Mercury can't be in retrograde, but something is going on with the stars, right? And anyway, let's get into Eddie Garcia. Now listen, y'all gotta hear this. Brian Still, I'm not gonna lie, he did his big one yesterday with that whole cross-examination. But when I say that the prosecution is back and they are angry, they are eating up space. They have gotten so much stuff admitted, and they said thanks to Brian's testimony yesterday, they opened the door to all of Diddy's jailhouse calls, which corroborate everything that Mia was saying. So why? And they said, and why? Because you're trying to imply that Mia was lying. You're trying to imply we have stuff that is going to actually be proven. But let's actually pull out our handy dandy notebook, right? How you doing? Let's actually pull out our handy dandy notebook and talk about the way, well, he's not law enforcement, but the way Eddie Garcia has effectively ended Diddy, and he has the most solid evidence for a RICO. When I say the payoff was run like a criminal organization, when I say that the NDA that they had Diddy sign was on Combs Global, I said, you know what? I do also want to say this as we get into the NDA. How did you have an NDA ready so fast? How did you have an NDA that actually said all that? It really, honestly makes 0 sense when you think about it. Afia said, Tisa, we saw you on Gene's Assistant live in the corner. Hope you good, but where's your bodyguard, boo? You can't be walking around alone. My bodyguard is around, and second of all, I was never in any danger. They wasn't yelling at me, at least. One person wasn't. I had nothing to do with that. I was just on live, creeping and looking to see what was going on, too. Anyway, right? They said that, let's see. They said that, so what happened, right? The tape happened, everybody knew about it, right? He said that Diddy's personal assistant, KK, called from a cell phone. They said KK, when KK called, he talked to her for a second, and then she passed the phone to Diddy, right? And they said that they didn't give him. They said that he thinks that they didn't give him Diddy's real number. They gave Diddy's burner phone number. So they set up a phone number in order for Diddy to They set up a phone number in order for Diddy to actually get the real number, right? Anyway, he said that when Diddy answered the phone, he was like, yo, you sound like a good guy, right? You sound like you want to help me. He said this could ruin me if this video gets out. Now, around this time, I'm like, okay, this could be just simple celebrity stuff. You actually don't even know whether or not, because I was waiting to see, like, are they going to be able to, but baby, it descended into madness, right? So they said, so the guy was asking me, he was like, yo, Eddie, my angel, I know you can help me. I know you're a good guy. I know you can do all this. Now, this guy, Eddie Garcia, is a really honest, good guy. Very, very earnest, right? So he was like, I'm sorry, I'm only an officer, right? I don't have access to any of that, right? He said, I don't even have credentials to get into the server room. Only my boss has access, so I don't think it can help you. Diddy literally said, yo, Eddie, you sound like you want to help. You sound like you can make it happen. If you can make it happen, from what it sounds like, yo, I can take care of you. I can make sure I take care of y'all if we can get the video, right? So he went back and he told his boss, and again, he never gave Diddy his number. KK and Diddy called him out the blue unprompted. He never gave Diddy his number. Again, is it starting to sound more criminal to you? It don't matter. It gets worse, right? So the guy, Eddie, goes back and he was like, yo, you know, Diddy and his assistant just called me out the blue and they were offering to pay for that video. That's wild, right? He's like, yo, that's wild. He looked over his supervisor. His supervisor said, yo, tell him I'll do it for 50K. He was like, what? He said, call Diddy and tell him I'll give him the tape for 50K. So he said, okay. So he called Diddy back on the burner number, right? Okay. It called like the burner thing, right? He said he'd do it for 50K. He called Diddy and he's like, yo, my boss said he'd do it for 50K. KK answered the phone, passed the phone to Diddy, right? He said, when he said that, he said Diddy sounded excited. He was hyped. Hold on, y'all, they cleaning like the lawn. Diddy sounded hyped. He was like, yo, Eddie, my angel, my angel. Listen, I know what you're saying. Anybody can pay for anything. It's the way things went down. He said, yo, Eddie, my angel. I knew you could help. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it, right? And he also was like, yo, I want this done as soon as possible. Can we do this as soon as possible, okay? So Eddie called his boss. He's like, yo, can we do this as soon as possible? The boss said, okay, bet. He said, okay, it like the 50K. Eddie said he went, these leaf blowers or trimmers. Eddie said, okay. He went to the Maserati, his boss. He said, yo, his name is Bill. He's like, yo, Bill, did he still pay the 50K? So he said, Bill came in, he went to the security base, then he checked into the office, then he went right into the server room because you need special stuff to actually get into the server room, right? He said he went to the server room and it came out a little while later and he handed him a black USB thing. And he said, yo, this is done. And the video was on the USB, right? That was on March the 6th. On March the 7th, right? He called KK and Diddy and said, yo, I got the USB, right? Now again, when he called the burner number, KK answered, and then she passed the phone to Diddy. So he said he told Diddy, yo, I got the USB. He said Diddy seemed happy, excited, and he was like, yo, how fast can you bring it? I know what you're saying. This all seems legal. Don't worry, it gets worse for Diddy, right? So then Diddy gave him the address, and he was like, yo, come see him now. He went over to his boss, Bill Maldonado, and was like, well, what you want me to do? He said to bring it, right? He said Diddy wants the video ASAP. Maldonado, the boss, said, listen, let everybody else in security know that you're running an errand for me. And he took the USB directly to Diddy, all right? Now, he said that he pulled up into it. It looked like where Diddy was staying, right? He pulled up, and he was waiting in the lobby. A bodyguard came down. Now, he didn't know the bodyguard's name, but he said the bodyguard was African-American, was older, 6'3", 6'5", very heavy set, right? But he didn't catch the guy's name. While they go, he takes him up in the elevator. While he's in the elevator, the bodyguard is like, yo, Diddy said you a good, listen. They said, Diddy, listen, they said, Diddy said, hold on a second. They said Diddy's security guard was like, yo, Diddy's a good guy. Keep doing your thing. It's all good. These sleepovers are killing me. Keep doing your thing, right? He said on the elevator, the guard kept trying to tell him stuff to make him feel good about what he was doing, which was selling footage that he had no right. They were snaking the company, but more importantly, I do believe they had a duty to report it to law enforcement. But even if they didn't, you're not allowed to delete stuff off of the security server, especially when you're not the victim. If Diddy was the victim, maybe there could be an argument, but Diddy wasn't the victim. Cassie was the victim, all right? He said the elevators opened up, and Diddy was smiling, right? He was like, Eddie, hold on my shoe. He was like, Eddie, my angel. Eddie, my angel, you okay? How you doing, right? Eddie said he was so nervous. Babe, please don't take me like that. Please don't. Yeah. Yeah, he said, Eddie said, how you doing? He said his voice kept cracking, right? And because he was super nervous. Diddy then told KK, yo, bring this man some tea, right? He turned around to Eddie and he was like, you like tea? And he was like, I didn't grow up drinking tea. He said, Eddie said, he said, yo, he told KK, go get him that tea that I like, right? Then he looked at Eddie and he was like, yo, he looked at Eddie and he was like, yo, do you like the tea? Okay. And then he looked at Eddie and he's like, yo, do you got the USB? He handed the USB over, right? They said that Diddy took the USB, left the room for a few minutes, and then came back, right? And then he asked them, is this the only copy? Okay. And Eddie was like, I believe so. Now, mind you, he is terrified. His voice is cracking, right? He said, I believe that at that time to be the only copy. Diddy then asked him, what about the iCloud, right? He called his boss that minute and asked, is this the only copy? Bill Maldonado was like, yeah, it definitely was. He said that, so Eddie was like, well, listen, that's the only copy. But aren't you concerned about Cassie making a police report? Because if she makes a police report, we can all get in trouble because it will be proof that there is no video and somebody deleted the video. Okay? Now, again, Eddie was asking all of the right questions, all right? Sandra Rios, thank you so much for the super chat, right? He said that he was concerned about Cassie making a police report. Diddy said, don't worry, Cassie wanted it done too. He then called Cassie on FaceTime. He said it was a short call. He thought it was Cassie because Cassie was wearing a hoodie and she couldn't clearly see the face, but he saw enough to be like, yo, that's Cassie. Listen, SP said, love, the CFO was testifying, now get back down. Don't worry, I'm going to be up in a second. E. Philippa Watson said, hi, Tisa, hope you get my last super chat in your fast live. It was so fast and full of mess from other people. Thank you. Anyway, Cassie told him, he said, yo, I just want to let you know. Diddy told Cassie, let him know you want this to go away too. Cassie said, hello, and I want this to go away too. Doreen Plate said, thanks for doing such an amazing job. I'm about to go upstairs in 1 second. I just want to give this tea to y'all, right? Diddy then said, yo, he asked for his ID. He asked for, Kareem Cordova said, who was the attorney who made the NDA? We'll get into that. Cognomen, thank you so much for gifting memberships. And Lucy Garcia, thanks. Yeah. Oh my God. Gene Deal is coming up here. What nonsense is going to erupt? Hold on. Here comes Gene Deal. Thank you. Here is Gene Deal coming through the court, letting everybody know that he is going to do whatever. Hey guys. So there is Gene Deal coming through. You know, Gene Deal is coming through, doing his thing. Did y'all see, or am I just holding it in nothing, right? Yes, we are big fans of Gene Deal, but let me finish this live because I really do gotta get back into the courthouse, right? Anyway, they said that they were nervous. Oh, so anyway, he asked for his ID, his boss's ID, and the officer that responded to the call, right? He said it was only worth it if everybody was on the same page. He said he was nervous because he didn't think Flores would go for it. Flores was kind of like straight-laced, right? He called his boss and told him, yo, he said Flores, who was actually one of the responding officers, he couldn't be bought off, but they bought another guy in, and they sent 3 copies for the super chat. Amanda Livingston, thank you so much for the super chat. And Camille Bell, thank you so much. Okay? Anyway, Diddy made them hand in their IDs. Diddy left the room to make 2 copies. They had to sign an ironclad NDA saying it was the only copy of the videos. I was like, is this even legal? The NDA outlined it, how there was no backup, nothing in the cloud, deleted or commotion, nothing to be recovered by date. Again, this is illegal because if you were not the victim, you were not allowed to pay off for security footage. Everything that was happening in this room was 100% illegal. 100 milligrams of bounce that ass. Diddy the Diddler, Diddy Goons, Cuddy, Carfire Goon. Amanda Livingston, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Camille Bell, thank you for the super chat, right? Anyway, I'm about to go in the courtroom. Anyway, right? They said they showed a picture of the NDA agreement, and it had Combs Global across of it. Maybe this is the RICO. Diddy used his company for this, right? Even though Diddy tried to date the agreement November 16th, and he was like, no, the date was actually March 16th. They said Diddy nips got glazed, bromo style, diddler, boom. They said that the agreement was a concern to the company, agreed to pay $1 million in breaches if they did anything to make the company look bad. You guys, listen, what else happened? He said he didn't get a copy of the NDA, which invalidates the NDA, because if you sign the NDA, you're supposed to get a countersigned copy. Diamond Blanco said, love you, Tisa. He said that Diddy went out the room and returned with a brown paper bag full of money and a money counter. He put the money through the money counter directly out of the brown paper bag, right? And he counted out 100K cash, right? He said that it was in stacks of 10K at the time. He said, my boss told me I'd do it for 50K. Diddy gave him an additional 50K for him and security, right? The bodyguard was there the whole time. Diddy gave 100K in a brown paper bag to this man. KK gave him some tea, right? Diddy asked him, like, yo, do you want to count him? He said, no, it's cool, I trust the counting machine. The guy was so nervous, he stood up to leave. Diddy said, I'll walk you out. He said they walked down to the valet area, but he was really scared because he thought Diddy was going to do something to him. This guy said he was only making $10.50 an hour. He's never seen that much money in his life. Sue McCuskey, thank you so much for the super chat. He said, Diddy asked him, how will you be spending the money, right? The guy was like, I don't know. He said, don't make any big purchases with that money, okay? Diddy signed his valet ticket, paid for his valet. He left. Diddy got in his car. He said he was super scared when he was driving away. He was looking to see whether Diddy was being followed. He said out of that car, he bought 30K with that car. He said he didn't report the money on taxes. That's probably why he got immunity, because that is tax fraud. He said he made no bank deposits because Diddy told him, be cool. And he said when he went to go to the incident report folder in the office a week later, there was no video. He didn't report it. And yeah, it was sold and bought. You guys, they said on Easter, Diddy texted him and said, Eddie, my angel, God put you in my life for a reason. And then he said, did anybody ask about the tape? He said, no, they didn't ask about the tape. He said, okay, if you need anything, let me know. After Easter 2018, Eddie, I thought he was going to reach out to extort him because I know all your tea, right? Eddie just sent a message on IG asking for a job. Diddy never responded back. I know that God, Diddy wish he had checked his DMs and actually responded back, because it was a mess, right? Listen, again, we have the RICO. Anyway, I wanted to give y'all, Chef say, great work, great job, keep up the great work and stay safe. I 100% will. Anyway, I want y'all to give you that tea. I'm going to run back into the courthouse because the CFO is testifying. I will see y'all on lunch break. All right.